Welcome to the Dag Code Podcast. This is DDS, where real fans come for real sports talk and no BS. We're your hosts, Blake Melton, Bradley Newberry, and Matthew Parker, joining us from the road again. This is Football Friday. How we doing, guys?
Hopefully, could be there in person soon.
Yeah. We'll be in the man cave as soon as you're back. We'll bring this party on the road.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you everybody again for hitting play, taking time to download this episode of DDS. Just a quick review of last week's picks. Blake went 5-0. Myself 4-1 and Parker 3-2, but I'm sure this will all change quickly.
Stay tuned. It's going to change.
We're going to do 5 college picks, 5 pro picks, so 10 in total on the docket today. A lot of chance for some movement. Let's get right into the college. We're going to go to Knoxville.
Yeah.
The 1-0 Pitt Panthers, I believe they are. And the 1-0 UT Vols are having a clash for the first time in 38 years. Do you have any initial thoughts, Coach Blake?
Man, there's been some pretty, I wouldn't say it's not great. It's not great news. Tyon Evans being out potentially for COVID reasons. That's a huge blow to the running attack that we have, which is going to be the biggest advantage I think we're going to have in this game. I think that Pitt's probably going to have the upper hand in the passing game, unfortunately. Defensive secondary's got to play better. I mean, I can't believe that we're talking about an SEC team having a home game where they're playing what I would consider a lesser name brand team as far as that goes. But we got some problems coming in here because I think that we are evenly matched. But I think where we come out on top is we do have home field advantage. There are some people that say that could swing things up to 3 points, but even though I think Pitt's still favored, aren't they?
They are. What are they hovering, Mr. Point Spread? Parker, still around that 3 number?
Yeah, there were 3 as of this morning.
Do you think that this game being played in Knoxville, you know, the coach of Pitt saying it's not loud there, is it going to be a factor? Will the people in the stands be a factor?
It's like me and Blake copied notes. Like, seriously. It's literally, I'm not even going to repeat it because it's literally what I have written down here. And yeah, it's a factor. Going into Neyland Stadium and watching run through the power tee and the orange and it is going to be a factor. Game scares the crap out of me again. Just echoing Blake, this is going to be all on the run game. And I think not just with Small, I think it's also be with Milton. But I give the edge on this one to Tennessee because of the home game. And I don't think Blake is incorrect at all by saying the bigger name brand. I don't even think that's a question.
Yeah, I know we got more running backs in the cupboard, so to speak, but when one of your 2 prized horses goes down, you know, that's a big blow, obviously. But the reality is Joe Milton has to play better. He has to. He can't play the way he played against who the hell I can't even remember. Bowling Green. He cannot play that way against this team and expect to win. Quite frankly, I mean, he has to get better. You know, they say between week 1 and week 2 is when you get your biggest improvement. A lot of times. I mean, I just hate that it always seems to come up. You know, and usually when you have to keep citing that quote, you know, maybe there's a problem.
So speaking of Milton, Parker, let me ask you a question. I believe all 3 of us were surprised that it seemed to be a 1 quarterback show against Bowling Green. Do you foresee that we see a second quarterback this week against Pitt?
I don't think we will. I think he does have a fairly short leash. I think if he comes out and throws like 3 interceptions in the first quarter, then we could. I think it's going to have to be awful for him to get pulled. But since we didn't see Hooker or Harrison Bailey, well, I still with Hooker for 1 play, I guess.
Not at all.
Since we didn't see them against Bowling Green, I don't think that we would see them against Pitt.
Yeah, I agree. He's going to have a short leash just because of the nature of the offense that they're running. I mean, because if he starts playing, just throwing pick after pick after pick, I mean, that'll stack up real quick in an offense that you're trying to get down and snap the ball when there's 25 seconds on the play clock.
Yeah, looking at this game from a statistical point of view, I wrote down some notes about Pickett, the quarterback from Pittsburgh, 272, 2 touchdowns, no picks.
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh rushed for 223 yards and 5 touchdowns. More impressively, as we've mentioned, the Vols rushed for 326 and 4 touchdowns. I want to see the UT Vols defensive line show up again. Parker, can they do it?
Simmons can.
Big boy.
I mean, he absolutely can. But and to piggyback off what you're saying about Pitt, they're an experienced team. They've got 8 starters back on offense, 6 on defense. I think Tennessee's got a sneaky good defensive line, and you're going to love it, Bradley. I mean, maybe the defense can actually win us a game.
That's what I watch.
I think that's going to be what we win on we're going to win on the back of our running game and our defensive line. I think we got to get after that quarterback.
That is exactly what I love watching. And that may be how I pick every one of these 10 games is what do I trust the most about the defense on either team. So saying that, I'll go ahead and give my pick. Not knowing much about Pitt and Blake telling me like last week on one of our shows that Pittsburgh was a favorite, my natural reaction was like, what the hell are you talking about? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But I'd say after watching week 0 or whatever the hell we're going to call that, I honestly think the UT Vols could shoot themselves in the foot here with that fast tempo. You know what I'm saying? It looks like Pickett can manage it. They can run the ball just as well. I'm going Pittsburgh 34-27.
All right. I'm going to go the other direction here. I'm going to say Tennessee's going to win this one. I think we will see a different Joe Milton. I'm hoping it's a better Joe Milton. I think that we probably have some running backs that we just didn't get around to against Bowling Green. I think that, honestly, I like Parker. I think we have a sneaky good defensive line, and I think it's going to be a difference maker in this game. And I think that 102-455 is going to be a key number in this game. That is going to be your 12th man. It's going to make a difference out there on the field. And I think the Vols win 24-21.
This is a tough one. I really struggle. I do give that to the Vols. My big thing. It's really just it's at home. I'm thinking this 30-24, and I wouldn't be surprised if either team was either one of those scores and flip-flop these back and forth. I'm going to go Vols, but I'm doing so very tentatively. But I'm giving them the home field advantage.
Yeah. One that we won't be mixed on is the next game we're going to talk about. The number 13 Florida Gators are playing against University of South Florida. They're going to be playing in Raymond James Stadium, Parker, where the Bucks just played. This one, again, just like last week with the Florida Gators, honestly, it's not about the game, in my opinion. This is about Florida. This is about a team that just rushed for 400 yards, 4 touchdowns. They're going to be able to run the ball whenever they want to against this Bulls team that has lost 15 out of their last 16 games. This game is about Emory Jones needs to get right before next week and being led to the slaughter with Alabama coming to town in an SEC matchup, their first one of the year. I'm not afraid of this game one bit, but I think it's another game that's going to be used to answer questions about who are the Gators? What are they?
Well, you just said it right there. That's what I was about to say. What it is to me is Florida's got to figure out who they are. What is their identity? Are they really a team that's going to go out there and rush for, 200-400 yards every game, or with very little to no quarterback play? Quite frankly, is that really how they're going to win in the SEC? I mean, I would say that the answer is an emphatic no. I don't think you're going to run it for 400 yards consistently against any kind of decent SEC team, particularly when they don't respect you as a passer. And right now they don't have that. They don't have that in their quiver. So this is a good game, like you said, for them to establish, to work on, to get Emory Jones to where, does he have an identity that includes throwing the ball?
I hate to be overreact to the first game guy, but I'm going to overreact to the first game. Granted, they asked me about the UT quarterback situation, and I don't think there'll be a change. But I think at the end of this game, if Emory Jones doesn't come out and look good, we're going to be seeing Anthony Richardson at the end of this game. People are already clamoring for him. This South Florida team is bad. I mean,
Yes.
They should come out and just beat the tar out of them. They lost last week 45-0. They didn't score 1 point. So if Emory Jones doesn't come out and look better, I think you could see him get a hook, and let's see what Richardson can do out there before, the inevitable game next week. But they should win this game. This is one of those games they could win by 20 or 50, just whatever they want to win.
Yeah, I think it should be. This is another one of the, even you substitute UT in this spot, it should be a game where the SEC team is the bully.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally agree.
I think they can name their score. I think they, at some point, they probably just get bored unless they're messing around with their quarterbacks. They're going to run the ball, which will be the clock will keep running. I'm going 40-10, Florida.
Yep. I'm going 38-3.
I'm going to go with, I'm going to go with 30. Actually, 38 is a good one. 38-7.
All right. Well, this is the game that we circled as the SEC game of the week that doesn't involve either one of our teams. And we'll probably never say this again, but we're going to do Missouri at Kentucky. Both teams coming to this game at 1-0. It was a game that we all identified on our SEC East prediction show that would make or break. It would kind of set the path. Whoever wins this game is going to set that path for the winner of this to be able to compete for what we're talking about, either the second or third slot in the East. You forget Georgia, right? But for these two teams, it's big, Blake.
I'm over here shaking my head just because, Missouri is in the SEC, right? I'd forgot because,
Are they in our SEC?
I don't know.
Oof.
They're not. What is this? The spread's at Kentucky by 5 at the moment. Guys, this is, you take a look at the numbers here. Missouri against Central Michigan had 468 yards of total offense, but gave up 475. Goodness gracious. In contrast, Kentucky also had a very good day offensively, 564 total yards against ULM. But they only allowed 87 yards total. I think that's going to be, to me, that's where this game the conversation's over. I think that this Missouri team didn't really show very much against Central Michigan. I think that whenever they go up against Kentucky, let's be honest, Kentucky has just been progressively, just very slowly over the years, been getting better and better and better. Stoops up there has just been, he's got buy-in from the brass up there in Kentucky, and they're just slowly making themselves better and taking advantage of an SEC East that's been down. So, they got a quarterback that threw for over 350 yards and 4 touchdowns. They had a 100-yard rusher last week. They're rolling right now. I think that this Missouri-Kentucky game is not going to be as close as some might think. I think Kentucky's going to come in here and they're going to whip some ass.
Whoa. Parker, what do you think?
Gosh, I just copy and paste Blake. I'm good. Go. No. This is overreaction, this line from last week. Missouri's showing out. Missouri's not good. Go back and listen to the preview podcast. I don't like Missouri. I don't care. Kentucky, there are 2 things that I will say about them that I have not said about Kentucky since Tim Couch. 1, they're going to have home field advantage. And 2, they have a big arm quarterback. I don't remember the last time they didn't have a wide receiver playing quarterback. this 5-point line, I'm trying to do different picks for our things, but this might have been my pick of the week if it is. I don't think it's close either. I think Kentucky comes out and wallops them. I mean, I'm talking like 2-3 touchdown beats them. I would taking Kentucky on this one, and I'm going to take them 28-14.
Well, that makes the trifecta. I think all three of us are going home team in Kentucky here.
31-7, 31-7. You heard it right here from Dad Stradamus.
Okay, yeah. As Blake mentioned, man, the Missouri defense giving up almost 500 yards to Central Michigan. I mean,
that's not very SEC-like, folks.
The quarterback from Kentucky, 367 and 4 touchdowns. You added in the running back dynamic there. The home field advantage of Kroger Field in Kentucky. Do your
running through the produce section to come on the field. I'm sorry.
Do your grocery shopping and get an SEC victory. 28-21 Kentucky. All three of us.
There you go.
Now, my favorite section is going to be Mr. Underdog. Blake's the only one that got this right, so I'm going to start with Parker then. We'll leave the champ to go last. Parker, what did you identify as an underdog upset in the college football ring?
This was a tough one. I had to bounce around 3 or 4 games, and initially I wrote down a team that I just can't say. Initially I almost went Vanderbilt, y'all. I almost did.
Oh, hey, I looked at it too.
Okay.
But I didn't do it. I couldn't pick Vandy and Tennessee in this. I just couldn't do it. So I went back and looked at it, thought about our preview podcast, went back and identified a team that I think is just absolutely dreadful. And that's South Carolina. And South Carolina is making a trip to East Carolina, ECU. They are 2-point dogs. I think they straight up win this game. The main reason is because they can put pressure on a quarterback, and once they put pressure on South Carolina's quarterback, the grad transfer or whatever he is just not gonna work well for him. I think they straight up win this game.
All right, Mr. Point Spread. If South Carolina didn't win by what was it? It was 46-0. Would this spread be different? Is this public overreaction? That's the main reason that I'm going with this one, because I do think it would be the other way around. I think it would be ECU favored in this, but just because it was such a walloping, it's just a reaction to that. All right. Well, I'll go next. We'll leave the champ for last. I'm taking my pick outside of the SEC a little bit. I'm looking at an in-state rivalry. I've identified number 10 Iowa as an underdog at Iowa State. Iowa State coach Matt Campbell is 0-4 against Iowa. Hope that trend stands. Iowa has won the last 5 meetings. I'm going with history, and I'm taking Iowa as my underdog pick.
Okay. Well, I'm putting my my Schwami hat on here. I'm going big here, guys. So, Miami, they got embarrassed last week. Pretty bad. And yes, Alabama is that good. But was Miami really deserving of their ranking?
Oh.
I'm going to say, that Miami, they think they're going to come back and get a little bounce back game here. But there's a little team called App State walking into town. I think they got something to say about that. I think they're going to sneak up on the Hurricanes and bite them in the ass.
Whoa, Parker, if that happens, we've got problems in South Florida.
Hey, they've been known to knock off big teams before.
Yeah, just ask us. We know.
Oh, my God. Oh, man, that's good. I love that segment. All right, so now this is the only pick that we'll be using with the point spreads. We can pick either the favorite or the underdog. It's called our college best bet. Parker, what you got? Mr. Point Spread.
I love your underdog pick that might straight up win, because my best bet is the game of the week. My best bet is Iowa versus Iowa State game. Iowa enters this on a 7-game win streak. I Iowa State didn't look that good last week, right? They just barely won the game. Iowa trounced their opponent. I think this is, again, another overreaction, though. Iowa wasn't that good. They didn't win by that much. They had 2 pick sixes. Their offense barely moved the ball. Iowa State came out and showed nothing. They passed the ball downfield further than 20 yards one time against Northern Iowa. They wanted to put nothing on tape for this Iowa team to see. Iowa State, they had some buzz around Breece Hall for a Heisman candidate. That obviously is dead now after last week. It was god-awful. I think he comes out this week a lot better. But my main reason for this is the Iowa quarterback. Last year, his worst game was against Minnesota. Minnesota has a 3-3-5 defense. Only time he's ever seen that. It was awful. Iowa State runs a 3-3-5 defense. This is going to be this kid's first time taking a snap in front of an opposing crowd. Last year, the COVID. And so he's going to be there. There's going to be game day. It's going to be rowdy. I think Iowa State, Dan Campbell did not come back, did not turn down $70 million to go to Detroit for no reason. This Iowa State team is a contender for a national champion. If you look at it, they're like the 5th favorite. I think Iowa State rolls over Iowa and gets the monkey off their back. The line on this last time I looked at it was 5.
All right. I wrote down Iowa State -5. Blake?
So, we talked about Alabama. We talked about Miami. Now let's talk about Georgia.
Okay.
So Georgia had a really emotional win, really big win, but we also got to see that there might be a question about JT Daniels. Is he really as advertised? I don't know. And there's also the hangover effect from such a victory, being on national television, very emotionally charged. I don't think they cover against UAB. That's my best bet.
What is it? UAB plus what?
23.5. UAB has a very aggressive defense that's going to get after the quarterback.
I think that's going to be a game where Georgia wants to treat that maybe a little bit similar to the Gators. They gotta get JT rolling, right?
It could go one way or the other.
Parker, which way do you think Georgia goes this week?
I thought the same thing. I think the hangover effect's real. By the way, my line on that Iowa State's 4, -4.
-4. All right.
I absolutely could see it going that way purely because of the hangover effect. But I could also see them coming out and say, hey, JT wasn't good. We do need to get him going, and they just trounce him.
Exactly. It can go one way or the other. I mean,
it really could. If I was having to pick, I would take the points.
Yeah, I'm going to go again outside the SEC, a little Ohio State hate.
There you go.
The number 3 Ohio State plays host to number 12 Oregon, even though Oregon's got some rolling into towns with some question marks with some potential injury issues. Ohio State allowed over 200 yards rushing to Minnesota. My hope is that this trend keeps going here with Oregon. Run the ball, keep the clock running. Ohio State is 1-5 against the spread in the last 6 games at home. I hope that trend continues. For me, taking 14.5 points with number 12 Oregon seems pretty nice. I already know I'm up 14-0. So my best bet, I'm going to go ahead and roll the dice. Take the Oregon Ducks plus 14.5. Ohio State wins the game 34-21.
There you go.
Parker, are the injuries too much for Oregon coming into Ohio State, though?
I think so. I mean, they have the best defensive player in the country that's probably the number 1 overall draft pick that may not play in this. So,
right.
You know, at 13, I think I would have liked Ohio State. But 14.5, man, that's over the key number, and there's value in that.
All right, there you go. There's our 5 for the college, but now we get to move into something we've been waiting for, salivating about, NFL talk.
Ah, yes.
Jeez, NFL picks with Mr. Point Spread himself. The first game, always the first game that we'll do in our NFL pick segment, The Tennessee Titans, our hometown Titans, they get to play host to the Arizona Cardinals this week. I'm going straight to the season ticket holder, Parker. Give us your thoughts first. We'll do some roundtable thoughts before we get to the pick.
Sure. So first, when I looked at this game when it was first announced, scares the hell out of me. Kyler Murray is electric. DeAndre Hopkins, arguably the best receiver in the NFL. They're just super, super fun to watch. And as a Titans fan, I have for years watched DeAndre Hopkins in a Texans uniform absolutely own us.
Yep.
So I went back and I was like, I feel like he just owns us. It just feels like it. Let me go do a little research. So I did a little bit of research last night. So all you daily fantasy players, you want to listen up to maybe taking DeAndre Hopkins this week. Since he has been in the NFL, DeAndre Hopkins has played in 12 healthy games against the Titans. In those 12 games, do you know how many yards he has?
I'm gonna go times 110. So it's over 1,200, right?
It is times 109 at 1,309 yards.
Oh
shit!
If you extrapolate that out to a full season of 16 games, it would be about 1,750 yards, which would be good.
Let's go ahead and do it by
best
17.
Receiving in the history of the league. So DeAndre Hopkins scares me on this one. So that's kind of my thought on their offense.
Boy, Adoree Jackson. That pick was great, right? For all you GM apologists out there.
Hey, it was great to get rid of him when they did.
Yeah.
It's horrible. You know what team didn't have trouble shutting him down? The Jags. Jalen Ramsey put the lockdown on that guy. Go back and look at those stats.
Yeah. Clearly, we're going to see real quick how improved the Titans secondary is. I mean, I like Parker. This scares me. I mean, it's kind of going to just depend. Do we get a little pressure on Kyler? Is our defensive front going to be a little improved to where maybe we can get some penetration, get him outside the pocket? I mean, but at the same time, last year, whenever the Cardinals were at their best, was when Murray was running the ball. I mean, he kind of adds that dynamic to the game. But then again, Tannehill, Julio, AJ, King Henry, is it just going to be too much? Is it going to be too much for him? I think we're probably going to be pounding the rock a lot, obviously, with Derrick Henry in the backfield. Why wouldn't you? Taking some deep shots. We're going to take the air out of the ball. That seems to be the strategy over the last couple of years here. And I think that you just hope your defense can get some 3 and outs every now and then, get off the field on third down. And I just don't think that their defense will be able to hold up to our offense over the course of 4 quarters.
I agree. I say this. Not all the questions coming into this game are about the Titans, are centered around the Titans. There are a lot of questions about Arizona. They were not a top 20 defense. They have J.J. Watt there. Really? Is that going to do anything here?
Exactly.
What's not a question in my mind is Derrick Henry. Proven. It's not a question mark. The offensive line can run block. I don't know if I trust your offensive line to pass pro, but it might not matter really.
Yeah.
The biggest question mark that I want to see answered is not even the Tennessee secondary, because I'm pretty positive they're horrible. Parker, what I want to see, I'm going to be watching special teams. Is Ficken kicking?
Ficken's kicking.
I mean, y'all have mentioned the punter. Is he going to be a weapon?
He always is.
Oh, Kern? Yeah, it's top 2 punter in the league.
I mean, something's going to have to give here, because Parker says take the over all day, and I wouldn't question his pick at all with the over.
Yeah.
I would push back on the defense, because I hear this on the 4-letter network all the time about how the Titans defense is awful. And yes, it was historically bad last year, but like we highlighted in the preview podcast, we have 7 new starters on defense. Bud Dupree, massive. Although I don't think he's going to be great this game. I don't think he's going to be 100%. So, just because of the injury he had. We're talking probably October, but he's going to be I really think, I'm not saying the defense is going to be great, but it ain't going to be 30. It's not going to be dead last in third down percentage. I think it's going to, if it jumps up, 8 spots. I'm not asking a ton. This team is going to be hard to stop because I don't think anyone out there is arguing that this might be the best offense in football. It's definitely top 3. I just think this defense is going to be better than what we think. And another thing, what really did scare me about the game was things like Kyler until I started looking into it, started thinking about it a little bit. You know what? The Titans have played Lamar, the most mobile quarterback in the league, each of the last 3 years. And they may not have won last year, but they shut Lamar down. It wasn't the defense that was a problem in that playoff game last year. It was actually the offense. We have done well against mobile quarterbacks, and I don't see why we won't be able to hold Kyler.
It's hard to argue with that.
I'm sitting here wondering. Remember when I said Derrick Henry is not a question? Now that I'm thinking about it, we got Kyler Murray running. Is it going to be Connor? Who's running the ball?
That's kind of that's what they got, right? That's all they got.
I don't know.
They got Conyer, and they've got
the
guy that catches all the passes. James Conner and.
Right. So here's the thing. Let's just go with the statement, maybe they just don't have a running back. But is that a good thing here? I mean, do you want any team to pass that often against the biggest question mark with the Titans defense? I think this is going to be a very high scoring game. It's going to look pretty bad at times on TV.
I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be a frustrating
game for me to watch because I love running and defense, and I'm not going to see any of that in this game except Derrick Henry.
Yeah, what it is it's going to be like a video game for Kyler Murray. I think the more one-dimensional that they make themselves, though, the more advantageous that could be for the Titans, obviously. So,
dude, I saw in my pick, I put take the over 52. The Tennessee Titans and Ficken line up for a 45-yarder to win the game and wide left. The Cardinals win 33-31.
Okay. Well, the hell with that. I'm gonna
running back, by the way, Chase Edmonds. I just have a brain right
there. Get out of here, Chase.
Anyways, I am I'm going Titans. Titans all the way, 24-20. 24-20.
So
one more great stat for you, Blake, that is going to put some little bit more hope in this Titans win for us. Well, I don't know that Vrabel's like the greatest X's and O's guy. I don't know. But he is a great leader, and he is great when he has time. So I went back and looked at when Vrabel had time to prepare versus another team, meaning coming off of the before the first game or off of the bye week. So Vrabel's very first game was in 2018 against Miami Dolphins. I'm going to throw this one out the window. He lost that game. That game, if y'all remember, was 7.5 hours long. It was the longest game in NFL history.
Yep.
So I'm not really counting that game because it was so weird. They stopped it 2 or 3 times because of lightning. But going on from there, and he had Mariota in that game also. During that 2018 season, after his bye week, won by 14. 2019 opener, won by 30. 2019 bye week, won by 22. 2020 bye opener, won. 2020 bye week against the Buffalo Bills, won by 26. This is why they're going to win 31-21.
Let's tighten up. It's time to tighten up.
Hey, they're clearly the best team.
Let's go.
They are the best team.
Right here on my
AFC
chest.
South. They're the best team. All right, now we get to just flip it to the total opposite spectrum of the NFL.
Is he over under 12? Take the under.
I mean, we're talking about a game that's going to be explosive for those that like to watch the passing offense. And then you turn the channel and you want to watch my game, the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Houston Texans. Doesn't it just make you want to throw up? Blake, what do you think?
I have a particular descriptive I like using in these situations that I cannot mention on YouTube. But hey, look, this is my thing. If I were a new coach or a new quarterback in the NFL, this is probably the game that I would want to play, or the team I would want to play against. This isn't necessarily the offensive line I would want to play behind if I were a new quarterback. But I mean, one thing, the Texans have what was it, the 6th worst running defense in the whole NFL last year. I mean, I know they got a new defensive coordinator in Lovie Smith. He's going to try to change all that, but I mean, it's still there. Hopefully they'll be able to hand the ball off here and get some success with that, and that'll open things up for Trevor Lawrence and vice versa. And I think, he has a little bit of an ability to move around a little bit, which will probably bail out their offensive line. But obviously the big concern that I have in this situation is because that O-line is so bad. I mean, is something stupid going to happen and Trevor Lawrence gets hurt? I mean, but you can't play that. You can't play scared. So, but like I said, if I were a new coach, if I was a new quarterback, this is the team I'd want to play, because I mean, I know everybody in the NFL right now is just looking at this saying, I want to play Houston right now.
Parker, does it make you feel a certain way that if the Titans win and go 1-0, that one of these teams are going to join the Titans up at the top of the AFC South at 1-0?
No, that does not impact my thinking whatsoever. It'll be nice for that team, though, to be able to put out on Twitter that they're tied for the division lead for a little bit.
There you go.
But, they have not gone more back and forth on any of these 10 picks that we're making than I have more on this one. Terrifies me. If there any other situation, I'm not even thinking about picking the Jags. I mean, a rookie quarterback, a rookie coach, playing in a game away from home. Any other situation other than Houston, I would not even contemplate taking Jacksonville. And as much as we talk about how much Houston sucks, and they do, don't get me wrong, I picked them for I picked 2 wins. If they don't win this game, what game do they win? This is going to be the best shot they have to win all year. And as bad as they are, and as bad as they are the oldest team in the league, which means they have a bunch of 1-year vets on the team that are out there playing their butts off to be able to get their next contract, or they're out of the league. And I think that goes a big factor in this. Again, while I've just sitting here talking to you guys about this, I've switched back and forth in my head like 3 times.
Jeez. Here, I'll give you some stats before you give the official pick. So, what is working against tradition and history? Listen to this stat. Number 1 drafted quarterbacks overall in their first NFL start in the last 25 attempts at this have 4 wins, 20 losses, and 1 tie. That is what Trevor Lawrence is up against. History. 4, 20, and 1.
Jeez.
On the road, as you mentioned. I mean, what other team would you want, though? But it's still rookie quarterback, first-time coach, going on the road. My only hope is that I remember the very first game of 2017 when a no-count Jaguars team rolled into Houston. And they shocked Houston that day. They won 29-7, sacking Deshaun Watson 10 times.
Jeez.
So when reading the old Jacksonville Nuggets and news over the week leading into this game, one reporter said, look, the very first thing you have to do is establish the run. After watching Thursday Night Football, I'm thinking to myself, really?
Yeah.
Did either one of those teams establish the run?
I don't think that's true anymore.
I don't think they have to.
No.
I think James Robinson is capable.
Mm-hmm. I think it helps. It helps for sure, I'd say.
Bottom line from the Jaguar fan is, just like Parker said, Houston, if they're not going to win this game, what game are they going to win? I turn the tables and say, Jacksonville, if you're not going to win this game, what game are you going to win?
Sure.
I mean, seriously, Houston is in shambles. Tyrod Taylor is the quarterback for this game. Urban and Trevor go 1-0, 27-20, Jacksonville.
Yep, I've got Jacksonville rolling here, 21-14, and Trevor Lawrence's first NFL victory.
He still hasn't picked. Listen to it.
The one good thing about Urban, even though I'm not an Urban Meyer fan, there's no tape on him yet. No one knows what he's going to do because he didn't do anything in preseason, so he's going to show up there and maybe be able to catch some people by surprise. But I just can't see these vets rolling over in the first game. Tyrod Taylor, again, playing for a life somewhere else after this. I think Houston wins this game, 17-14.
Ooh. What a disgusting game. I just threw it.
But I don't feel good about
it. It hurt him a little bit to say that.
All right. The game that we picked, we circled outside of our Tennessee-Jacksonville world, was Miami at New England. Gentlemen, this is a game of Alabama quarterbacks. We've got the anointed one, the one that kicked Cam Newton's ass right off the team, Mac Jones versus Tua.
Yeah. Old Mac, I guess he was teaching Cam the playbook, apparently, from what we were hearing. But again, citing those stats you just mentioned about rookie quarterbacks, I don't think this is going to be. I don't think this is going to be a victory for Mac Jones this week anyway. Going against Miami, they got the sixth best defense or whatever in the NFL. Is that what that says over there? Yeah, they got Xavier Howard and Byron Jones. It's going to be tough for him. They're not going to make it easy for him. It's not that he's not going to have a good game. He's going to have to, learn to take the speed of the NFL game in, because, dude, I think Tua is ready to break through. And I think what little experience he has over Mac Jones in this game is going to shine through, and I think they're going to take this one.
What do you think about this matchup, Parker?
I think that, I'm glad Blake shed some light on this, because I'm tired of watching and listening to national media and hearing how great Mac Jones is. It was 2 years ago that Tank for Tua. I mean, we talked about it extensively on our preview podcast. What is Tua dead? Like, did they throw him over to the corner? I don't understand this. I know he wasn't great last year when he played. He was coming off of a major injury. He was coming out of a COVID year with no practice. It's thrown into an offense that was for Fitzy. I just don't understand the love for Mac Jones and not the love for Tua. The thing that's going to make this game close is Mac Jones is getting to play at home. This is going to be Tua's first start because in front of crowds because of last year. And I thought about Vrabel with time to prep. There's a guy up in New England that's pretty good with time to prep.
Hey, I was about to throw it out there. I was going to say, you mentioned time to prep, and this guy's pretty darn good at it too.
Yeah, well, we're going to see.
If New England wins this game, it's not because of Mac Jones. It's because of their running game, and it's because this defense, people forget how good they were 2 years ago, and most of them were out last year. I know Gilmore's not going to be there for this game, but everybody else is. Their offensive line is very good. They will be able to run the ball. I am higher on Miami, as you guys know, than most people. I'm picking Miami in this one. But I do think it's going to be a close game, which a lot of these that we're looking at, I think are going to be close games. We had some good ones this week.
It's the NFL.
Yeah.
It's the 50-50 league. It's just a better brand of football when you get like every matchup.
Everybody's good.
It's pretty darn good. Yeah. I was going to mention the give the coach time. I mean, he's proven over the years that you give him extra time to prepare. He's got a very good track record of it. New England is traditionally tough at home.
But that's been with a guy named Brady.
Right. And I'm like,
I mean, yeah, Bill Belichick is good at planning with time to prep, but when's the last time he had to do it with a rookie quarterback?
Right. So for myself, I'm looking forward to seeing how do they utilize their tight ends in New England, because I have both of them on my fantasy roster. I've got both. I want to see what happens there.
You're never going to be able to start the right one.
I'll always have the wrong one in. Gosh, right now I've got Jonnu in, but I switch it every time I look at it. It looks like I'm going 23-20 Dolphins.
Yep,
I got 24-21 Dolphins.
21-7. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
21-17 Dolphins.
Close game. It's going to be a good one. Good one. It could. I mean, everyone's just anointing Buffalo in the NFC or in the AFC East.
Yeah,
this could be a good game. This will be a good game, I think.
Yep.
Good game. Underdog time, fellas. Again, my favorite time. Have you spotted a team that is not favored to win that will win?
Yeah. I went around and around and around for my underdog. And then it dawned on me. I think Joe Burrow has been waiting to show some folks some stuff, and he's opening up at home against Minnesota. I think he pulls it out. I do. That's my dog.
That's my dog.
That's my dog.
Hey, Parker, I'm going with the NFC East champs. They are a home underdog as well. They're playing a team that has to travel all the way from not San Diego, but Los Angeles. The Los Angeles Chargers. I know everyone's high on Herbert. But I'm going with the home team here, 24-20 Washington.
Boom.
I have one of the ones that you guys have.
Nice.
And I think this team is not favored. It's not even – the wrong team is favored in this game. Why is San Diego? Why are the Chargers favored over Washington? I don't understand. Like, they won their division last year. Washington did with the worst quarterback. I'll take that back. The worst two quarterbacks in the league as starters. They upgrade that. Even if Fitzpatrick's just average, it's still an upgrade by 12 spots. The Chargers are, again, like Bradley said, going from all the way from the West Coast to the East Coast. The Chargers have new coaches. Herbert hasn't played one snap in the preseason. He doesn't know the scheme. At least he's not played it yet. This is also going to be Herbert's first start. I know I keep coming back to this, but it's true. First start against opposing fans. It's going to be rowdy in there. Austin Eckler's hurt. I know he's supposed to play, but he's banged up. The Chargers lost some defensive players from last year. This one boggles my mind. This is Washington. It's not. It's easy.
Right.
I think Washington wins this one, 28-21.
All right. I always like to start with Parker on this one, Mr. Point Spread. Best bet in the NFL. You can pick either the underdog here or the favorite. What do you want to win some money on this week in the NFL?
I am fading the public, and the public loves the Buffalo Bills. Pittsburgh Steelers, 6.5. It's going to be my bet here. I talked about this in our preview podcast. Josh Allen, he's going to be great. Don't get me wrong, but he is going to regress. He's not going to be that same guy as he was. And while I talked about fraudulent Pittsburgh last year, and they still started off 11-7. Big Ben's back. Ben Big's healthy. He looks better than he's ever looked. They've got their three big-time receivers there. They just they drafted a Freiermuth and a big-time tight end. And if there wasn't that guy down in Atlanta, this only guy we'd be talking about is rookie tight ends. They drafted Najee Harris. I just 6.5 is a ton of points in the NFL, y'all. I think this is the second biggest line of the week, and we saw what happened with the biggest one last night. So Pittsburgh Steelers plus 6.5.
I think Blake's going to a little bit higher spread than you are. What do you have? Unless you've changed your mind.
No, I have not. I'm sitting here looking at this Green Bay New Orleans game.
That's right.
Yeah. And I think
they're playing this game in Jacksonville.
Yeah. And, I'm looking at this 4 number down there. And I think the only 4 that we're going to see on the box score is 4 interceptions for Jameis Winston.
Oh, no.
So
over or under 4 for Jameis?
Is it? That's a tough number. Why does it got to be 4? I think it's going to be 4. What do you mean over or under?
Oof.
That's what it's going to be.
Wow, folks.
So yeah, I think Green Bay takes care of business here.
Green Bay -4. All right. I'm gonna go with a favorite as well, Parker. Detroit. I'm coming to you, Detroit. There's a team that is on everyone's uptick list that's making its way to your home. The San Francisco 49ers. I think this game is all about them setting the tone. The Lions will prove that they will be horrible this year. San Francisco 31-13, and it's not even in doubt.
All right.
There we go. There are 10 picks. I think there'll be a lot of movement here.
Oh, me, oh, my. That was a show, boys. That was a show. Any closing thoughts here as we get ready to sign off?
I really like a lot of the underdogs this week. I think in our picks that we've turned in before we pick every game, I think my top 5 are all people getting points. So I really think that we can see a lot of underdogs cover this week.
I'd like to throw a bonus. MTSU +20, Virginia Tech.
102,
Let's go.
455 has got to show up on Rocky Top. Joe Milton, you got to play better, buddy. Show them how it's done, big dog.
My final thought is if Jacksonville does win, the Titans lose. If the Colts lose, could we be looking at the Jags in sole possession of first place in the AFC South?
Let's not go there. All right, guys. Hey, thanks for joining us today. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at DDS Sports Talk. Like, subscribe, comment for us. Email us with any questions, concerns, comments, thedadgopodcast@gmail.com. Tune in next Tuesday for our reaction show. Guys, closing words.
I mean, I need to copy Parker's picks.
There you go.
Go Balls.
GBO. All right, guys. You be well.